Hello, I'm James Ezimoha. Welcome to African News, where we bring you the latest updates from across the African continent. Let's see your headlines. Couples in eastern Congo face unexpected obstacles as ongoing conflict disrupts civil marriage registration. Gabon to hold post-coup presidential elections this April. We look at the profiles of the major candidates. Thousands of South Africans protest, demand justice for allegedly raped 7-year-old girl. Thank you for joining us. We begin in Congo, where former warlord Thomas Lubanga, previously convicted of war crimes, has announced the formation of a new rebel group in eastern Congo's Ituri province. From his base in Uganda, Lubanga has announced the creation of the Convention for the Popular Revolution, a political military movement aiming to take back the destiny of Ituri province in eastern Congo. He accuses the Congolese government of neglecting the massacres and abuses perpetrated by armed groups in Ituri, stating that bringing peace to the area requires an immediate change in governance and government. Still in Congo, couples in eastern Congo are facing unexpected obstacles as ongoing conflict disrupts civil registration. With M23 rebels occupying parts of Bukavu, civil weddings have been suspended, leaving many unable to formalize their unions.
Weddings are meant to mark a new beginning, but in eastern Congo, it has become a symbol of uncertainty. Couples with plans to take their vows have not been able to do so since the M23 rebels seized parts of Bukavu, with municipal services, including civil marriage registrations, shut down. Residents say they fear having unrecognised marriages following the closure of marriage registration services in the region.
Our worry and fear is getting married, and then after some time having the authorities tell us our marriages are no longer recognized because they were conducted when the city was under rebel control. So we are stuck. There's nothing we can do. We can only blame ourselves. We keep waiting.
Despite the uncertainty, some couples are turning to religious ceremonies. However, religious leaders say the legal requirement is still essential.
State institutions register the marriage. It's after that they come to church. That means if you haven't been to the girl's family, if you haven't justified your marriage registration with state institutions, we cannot register or bless this marriage.
Meanwhile, on the outskirts of Bukavu, where government operations are still functional, civil status officers urge residents to continue registering marriages and births wherever possible.
As civil status officer of Ibanda commune, I call on the population to come register their marriages at the civil status office as usual, to come register children at civil status, to come request birth certificates as usual. We are ready to serve them. For those coming for marriage, we proclaim their marriages, we post them as usual according to Congolese law. Everything happening here conforms to Congolese law, no other law. We do this for issuing birth certificates and registering marriages.
For now, many couples remain in limbo, uncertain whether their marriages will be recognised in the future. While some areas continue with legal registrations, the wider instability in eastern Congo has made even the simplest milestones a challenge.
Gabon is preparing for its first presidential election since last year's military coup. Interim leader Brice Oligui Nguema, who led the takeover, is running against former Prime Minister Alain-Claude Bilibayenze. The vote comes amid concerns about the military's continued grip on power.
Gabon is approaching a pivotal presidential election on April 12th, the first since the military coup in August 2023 that ended the Bongo family's 56-year rule. Among the 8 candidates, 2 figures stand out: interim President Brice Oligui Nguema and former Prime Minister Alain-Claude Bilibayenze. Brice Oligui Nguema born in Haute-Ogooué province, pursued military studies at Morocco's Meknes Royal Military Academy. He began his career as an aide-de-camp to President Omar Bongo, later serving as a military attaché in Morocco and Senegal. In 2018, he returned to Gabon to lead the intelligence service of the Republican Guard, eventually rising to the position of its commander in 2020. His leadership saw the expansion of the Special Intervention Section, a unit directly under the president's authority. In August 2023, Nguema led a coup that deposed President Ali Bongo, citing public dissatisfaction with prolonged family rule and economic disparities. The coup was met with public approval, reflecting widespread discontent. As interim president, Nguema initiated anti-corruption measures and championed constitutional reforms, including a new constitution approved by 92% of voters in November 2024, allowing transitional leaders to seek office. Despite his anti-corruption stance, Nguema faced scrutiny over reports of property acquisitions in the United States, totaling over $1 million. Alain Claude Billy, by NZ, born on September 16, 1967, in Makoku, studied literature at Omar Bongo University in Libreville. His political career began in 2006 as Minister of Communications, followed by various ministerial roles, including Deputy Minister of Transport and Minister of State. In January 2023, he was appointed Prime Minister under President Ali Bongo. Following the 2023 coup, he distanced himself from the Bongo regime by leaving the Gabonese Democratic Party in 2024 to establish Together for Gabon. His campaign focuses on revitalizing the private sector, job creation, and enhancing public services. He also advocates for recalibrating Gabon's relationship with France and reducing food import dependency. He positions himself as an experienced politician capable of addressing Gabon's economic challenges, emphasizing a pragmatic approach to governance. His candidacy represents a blend of continuity and change, aiming to leverage his governmental experience.
Thousands of South Africans have taken to the streets demanding justice for a 7-year-old girl known as Twetwe, who was allegedly raped at a school in Eastern Cape last October. Protesters are demanding swift action from authorities and highlighting concerns about child safety in educational institutions. The school's handling of the incident has come under intense scrutiny. Reports indicate that instead of assisting with investigation, the school offered the family a transfer letter which they had not requested. This response has fueled public anger and led to the emergence of a movement on social media. Hundreds of Muslims gathered at a mosque in Dakar's Yoff district to celebrate Eid al-Fitr, known locally as Korite. Eid prayers in Dakar brought families and communities together in gratitude after a month of fasting. The end of Ramadan is also a time for gift giving, family visits and celebration. As worshippers marked the occasion, markets and streets filled with people preparing for days of festivities. The holiday remains one of Senegal's most cherished traditions, blending religious observance with cultural unity. Libyans celebrated Eid al-Fitr with prayers, gathering and cultural events across the country. In Benghazi, a national dress gathering brought people together to showcase Libya's rich heritage.
Across Libya, Eid al-Fitr celebrations blended tradition with unity. In Misrata, shoppers filled markets in the days leading up to the holiday, purchasing embroidered shirts and the iconic Famla vest. Meanwhile, in Benghazi, young people gathered in a public square for the 7th annual National Dress Gathering, where participants wore traditional Libyan attire. Organizers say the event is a symbol of solidarity and national pride.
We are now in Benghazi city during the 7th edition of Benghazi Youth Gathering in national dress. The gathering brings together Libyans from across the country, east, west, and south. We are gathering for the 7th consecutive year in a scene that shows solidarity, connection, and bonding of Libyans together. people from all across Libya are now in Benghazi city, which signifies that Libyans are not separated by anything, but what gathers Libyans today is the unity of the country.
Residents say the Eid celebrations are not just about tradition, but also a reflection of Libya's shared identity.
Wishing the Islamic nation well, and especially the Libyan people. Eid al-Fitr in Libya is special, especially through highlighting the Libyan identity in all the Libyan cities, which shows that the Libyan people are one people and one ummah. Many happy returns to everyone.
With colourful gatherings and traditional dress, Libyans welcomed Eid al-Fitr as a time to celebrate culture, unity, and the bonds that connect them across the country.
Well, that's all we have today in African News. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to A News.